Everyone talks about inspiration. They tell you to get fired up, stay motivated, chase your dreams, and visualize success. Social media is flooded with hype, flashing messages like, "You've got this, crush your goals, hustle hard." And it feels good for a while. You get pumped, you set goals, you swear this time will be different. But then, life happens. You get tired, you get distracted, you lose the mood. And suddenly that wave of inspiration that felt so powerful, gone. Here's what no one tells you. Inspiration isn't the key to long-term change. Consistency is. Because real success, it's not built on moments of excitement. It's built on what you do after the excitement fades. You see, we've all been conditioned to chase highs. We crave motivation the way people crave sugar, quick, sweet, addictive. But the crash always follows. And that's where most people give up. They think, if I don't feel motivated, maybe I'm not cut out for this. But you are. You're not failing because you lack motivation. You're struggling because you've been taught to depend on it. And that ends today. This video is not about pumping you up for 5 minutes. It's not about flooding your mind with more empty slogans. This is about shifting your mindset from momentary hype to daily habits, from emotional sparks to consistent steps. Because inspiration can start a journey, but only consistency will finish it. You don't need more feel-good speeches. You need a rhythm, a plan, a promise to yourself that you're going to show up regardless of how you feel. Think about it. The people you admire most, they're not special because they always feel inspired. They're powerful because they're reliable. They do the work. Tired, bored, uninspired. And that's what makes them successful. This is your wake-up call. To stop waiting for the mood to strike. To stop quitting when the fire dies down. To stop chasing fast starts. And start building steady growth. Over the next few minutes, we're going to break down what consistency really looks like. How to build it. Why it matters. And most importantly, how it will separate you from 99% of people who give up too soon. This isn't just another motivational video. This is the truth that changes everything. So if you're tired of starting over, tired of feeling stuck, and ready to finally take control, you're in the right place. Because this is where your hype ends and your habits begin. Why inspiration isn't enough. Let's start with a hard truth that most people don't want to hear. Inspiration is overrated. Now, that may sound shocking, especially in a world filled with motivational quotes, viral speeches, and high-energy videos telling you that you can do anything if you're just inspired enough. But here's the reality. Inspiration fades. It's like a sugar rush. It feels amazing in the moment, but it crashes fast. You can watch a video that makes you want to run through walls, start a business, or change your life. And yet, 2 days later, you're right back in your old habits. Not because you didn't care, but because inspiration doesn't build habits. Consistency does. Most people wait for the right mood to take action. They wait to feel motivated. They wait for the perfect moment, the perfect plan, the perfect push. And while they wait, life moves on. The truth is, change doesn't come from waiting for motivation. Change comes from making a decision and sticking with it, no matter how you feel, no matter what the day throws at you, no matter how small the progress looks. Inspiration gets you started. It's the spark. But you can't build a fire with a spark alone. You need fuel, you need discipline, you need consistency. It's easy to be excited when everything feels new. It's easy to commit when the vision is fresh and the goal is exciting. But what happens when the novelty wears off? What happens when it's boring, repetitive, and inconvenient? That's the test. That's where most people quit. Not because they aren't inspired, but because they never learned how to keep going when the excitement disappeared. If you only act when you're inspired, you'll never reach your potential. Why? Because life will not always inspire you. Life is hard, it's busy, it's unpredictable. If your success is tied to your mood, then your growth is tied to chance. But when your success is tied to consistency, everything changes. You don't have to rely on motivation to get up early, to work out, to build your dream. You don't have to feel ready. You just have to show up every single day, especially when you don't feel like it. That's where transformation happens. Not in the bursts of hype, but in the quiet discipline of daily action. So yes, let inspiration be the spark. But let consistency be the fuel that keeps your fire alive long after the feeling fades. Because if you're only moving when you're motivated, you'll move in circles. But if you're committed, even on the uninspired days, you'll go the distance. The power of small, repeated actions. We live in a world addicted to big moments. We're obsessed with overnight success, viral transformations, and instant results. But here's what they don't tell you. Success is not a big leap. It's a series of small, quiet steps. Every lasting change, every meaningful achievement is born from the power of small, repeated actions. You don't need a dramatic breakthrough. You don't need a perfect 10-step plan. What you need is the discipline to do the small things consistently, even when no one is watching, especially when no one is watching. It's brushing your teeth every day, not once a week for an hour. It's choosing water instead of soda, day after day. It's writing one page every night, not staying up one night to write a whole book. It's 5 push-ups a day, not a 2-hour workout once a month. Consistency compounds, and at first it's invisible. You won't see the results right away. You might even feel like it's not working. But if you stay with it, something powerful begins to shift. You build momentum, you build identity, you build results. Think about this. Water doesn't cut through rock with force. It cuts through with persistence. Day after day, drip after drip. It wears away what once seemed unchangeable. Your goals, your dreams, your habits, they work the same way. You chip away at them, daily, patiently, faithfully. The people who win in life are not the ones who make one big push. They're the ones who show up over and over, long after the mood is gone. They understand that extraordinary success is built from ordinary days done well. So ask yourself, what's the one small thing you can do today that moves you forward? Can you walk for 15 minutes instead of skipping exercise altogether? Can you read 5 pages instead of saying you don't have time to read? Can you spend 10 minutes working on your dream instead of scrolling aimlessly? It's not about perfection, it's about progress. Those tiny efforts may not impress the world, they won't make headlines or go viral, but behind the scenes they're doing something incredible. They're building the foundation of a new you. And one day you'll look back and realize, it wasn't one big moment that changed your life, it was the quiet commitment to small, repeated actions, done with purpose, done with patience, and done with heart. Discipline is greater than mood. Let's be honest, your mood is a liar. One minute it tells you, let's go, you got this. And the next it whispers, you're too tired, just skip it today. That's the thing about feelings. They change with the weather. They rise and fall with stress, sleep, distractions, and self-doubt. If you build your life around your mood, you'll live in cycles of inconsistency, frustration, and regret. But when you build your life around discipline, everything changes. Discipline is not glamorous, it doesn't always feel good. It doesn't wait for the perfect moment. Discipline shows up, tired, uninspired, uncertain, and still chooses progress. And this is the dividing line between the dreamers and the doers. The dreamers wait to feel ready. The doers act even when they're not. The people you look up to, the athletes, the entrepreneurs, the artists, they don't win because they're always motivated. They win because they made a decision. I'm going to do it whether I feel like it or not. That decision, that mindset, is freedom. It removes negotiation from your day. You no longer have to argue with yourself. You no longer rely on hype. You wake up, you do the work, you keep the promise you made to you. And the more you show up, the more powerful you become. Discipline builds trust with yourself. Every time you follow through, when it would have been easier to quit, you send a message to your mind. I am reliable. I am consistent. I am becoming stronger. And let me tell you something, there is no better confidence than the kind that comes from knowing you can count on yourself. Not hype confidence, not external validation, but self-trust. And that is built through discipline, not mood. Yes, you'll have days when your energy is low. You'll have moments when your mind is filled with doubt. You'll have times when the results don't match your effort. But that's when discipline shows its true power. It keeps you moving forward. Inspiration is the push. Discipline is the engine. Inspiration says, let's go. Discipline says, let's finish. You don't need to be in the perfect state to make progress. You just need to start. Because action creates momentum. And momentum fuels everything. So today, stop asking, do I feel like it? And start asking, who am I becoming? Then act like the version of you you're building. Not the one that waits, the one that wins. How to build habits that stick. Let's get practical. You know that consistency is the key. You know inspiration will fade and discipline must take its place. But the real question is, how do you build habits that actually stick? Not for a week, not for a month, but for life. The answer is simple, but powerful. You don't rise to the level of your goals, you fall to the level of your systems. Big goals are inspiring, yes, but without the right habits, even the best intentions will collapse under the weight of daily life. And that's why we need to stop focusing only on outcomes and start focusing on the process. Let's start with the basics. If you want habits that last, make them so small they feel almost too easy to fail. Want to read more? Start with 1 page. Want to get fit? Do 5 minutes of movement. Want to meditate? Begin with 1 minute of silence. Why? Because small habits don't require motivation, they only require a decision. And the truth is, once you start, you're far more likely to continue. That's called the gateway habit. It opens the door to bigger action. You may start with 1 push-up and end up doing 10. You may commit to 1 minute of journaling and write a full page, but it begins with showing up. Now here's where consistency truly takes root. Make the habit obvious, easy, and attached to something you already do. This is called habit stacking. Example: after I brush my teeth, I'll read 1 page. After I pour my coffee, I'll do 10 squats. After I turn off my alarm, I'll say 1 affirmation. The goal is to reduce resistance. You don't want to have to think about your habit. You want it to flow into your day almost automatically. Also, track it. Whether it's a calendar, app, or checklist, tracking gives your brain a visual reward. Every check mark is a small win. And success, even tiny success, builds momentum. But don't fall into the perfection trap. You will miss a day. You will slip. And that's okay. The rule is simple. Never miss twice. 1 miss is life. 2 becomes a pattern. So when you fall off, get back on. No shame, no guilt, just return. Because consistency is not about being perfect. It's about being committed. Your identity changes through action. Every time you show up, you're casting a vote for the kind of person you want to become. Want to be a writer? Write. Want to be fit? Move. Want to be confident? Speak up. Habits are how you become who you were meant to be. Not in a rush, not in a flash, but in the quiet, steady rhythm of daily action. Winning the battle with yourself. Let's talk about the real battlefield. Not the gym, not your workspace, not the outside world. The real battle is happening in your mind. It's the internal war between who you are and who you're becoming. It's the quiet, relentless voice that tells you, you can skip today. It's okay, you've done enough. No one will know. You'll start again tomorrow. Sound familiar? Here's the truth. You will always have to fight your comfort. You will always face resistance when you're pushing for something greater. The enemy isn't always laziness. Sometimes it's the fear of change, disguised as a perfectly reasonable excuse. But let me tell you something. The voice that whispers defeat is not your truth. It's just your programming. It's the wiring of old habits trying to keep you in the same place. And every time you choose to act despite that voice, you're rewriting your identity. You are not your past. You are not your patterns. You are what you consistently choose. You don't need to silence that voice forever. You just need to stop obeying it. When your alarm rings and you want to stay in bed, get up. When you plan to work out but your mind says not today, move anyway. When you said you'd write, study, build, grow, but you're feeling unmotivated, show up anyway. Why? Because you're teaching yourself something more important than any result. You're teaching yourself that you are in control, that you decide, that your emotions don't run the show, your vision does. Most people think self-discipline is restrictive. But here's the irony. Discipline is freedom. It frees you from regret, from guilt, from cycles of starting and stopping. Discipline is the ultimate form of self-respect. It says, I care about myself enough to do what's hard, because I know what I'm capable of becoming. Winning the battle with yourself isn't about force. It's about alignment. It's about getting crystal clear on your why and refusing to break promises to yourself. And remember, you won't always win every battle. You'll have days when you fall short. But the victory isn't in being perfect. It's in getting back up faster every time. Real strength isn't about having no struggle. It's about choosing your future over your feelings again and again. So when the voice in your head tries to sell you comfort, remind yourself, you weren't made for average. You weren't built to settle. You are becoming someone the old you wouldn't even recognize. And that starts by winning the battle. One day, one choice, one decision at a time. The secret to real, long-term change. So what is the secret? The one thing that separates those who talk about change from those who live it. It's not talent, it's not luck, it's not being in the right place at the right time. It's consistency, day after day, even when it's hard, even when it's boring, even when no one is clapping. The truth is, real change doesn't feel exciting most of the time. It feels repetitive, it feels invisible. It feels like showing up when you don't want to, and doing the work anyway. We often glamorize success. We post the before and after photos. We celebrate the breakthrough moment, but we don't talk enough about the in-between. The long stretch of days where nothing seems to be happening, and yet everything is being built. That's where long-term change lives. In the ordinary, in the repeated, in the things you do so often, they become who you are. Because here's the truth, you don't need a breakthrough. You need a rhythm. You don't need to feel inspired. You need to feel responsible to your future self. The person you want to become isn't created by one massive decision. It's shaped by 1,000 daily ones. The food you choose, the thoughts you entertain, the habits you honor, the promises you keep, especially the ones you make to yourself. When you choose consistency, you're choosing identity over intensity. You're choosing to become the kind of person who doesn't quit, who doesn't chase hype, who doesn't rely on bursts of energy to move forward. Instead, you become grounded, focused, steady. You become the kind of person who builds unshakable confidence, not because of how fast you go, but because you keep going. Think about it. If you just did one small thing every day to improve yourself, just 1%, in a year you wouldn't be the same person. You'd be better, stronger, wiser, because real transformation compounds over time. But most people quit before they see the payoff. Why? Because they expect results overnight. You can't microwave greatness. You grow it in the slow cooker of daily effort. So if you're still waiting for the perfect moment, stop. There is no perfect moment. There is only right now. Start today. Start small. Start messy. Just start. And then don't stop. Because consistency is the bridge between who you are and who you're meant to be. And the longer you stay on that path, one foot in front of the other, the closer you get to a life that no longer needs inspiration because it runs on purpose. So now we've come full circle. You started this video searching for something, a spark, a push, a new wave of motivation. But what you discovered is something far more valuable. That consistency, not inspiration, is the key to lasting change. You've been told your whole life that you need to feel ready to move. That motivation is what separates winners from losers. That without that emotional high, you can't build anything meaningful. But that's a myth, and deep down, you already knew it. Because how many times have you felt fired up, only to watch that fire fade? How many times have you set big goals on Monday and given up by Friday? The truth is this: motivation is fleeting, but consistency is dependable. And in a world obsessed with overnight success, the people who win, truly win, are those who outlast the noise. They're not the loudest, they're not the most hyped, they are the most committed. They wake up and get it done. They don't chase feelings, they follow systems. They don't need to feel 100% to give 100%. They just keep showing up, day after day, step after step, brick by brick. And that's what I want for you. Because this journey isn't about being perfect. It's not about never falling off track. It's about building the muscle of discipline. Slowly, intentionally, and honestly. You don't need to wait until you feel good. You don't need to wait until January 1st. You don't need to wait for another sign from the universe. You start now, right here, with whatever you have. You make a decision that no matter how small the steps are, you will keep walking. No matter how long the path feels, you will stay on it. Because even when you can't see the full picture yet, you are becoming the person who finishes what they start. And the person who finishes is not the one who had the most motivation. It's the one who had the most consistent CI. So take this moment and choose your future. Build systems instead of hype. Build habits instead of waiting. Build character because your dreams depend on it. Let this be the day you stop chasing motivation. Let this be the day you become consistent. Because consistency will do what inspiration never could. It will carry you all the way to the finish line. Your future self is counting on you. Start showing up and never stop.